The Bold and the Beautiful, the rearmost twist involving Electra and a mysterious freshman named Miss Dillon threatens to shake the company to its veritably core. The story begins on an ordinary morning at Forrester Creations. Sun pours through the towering windows of the design office while the creative platoon prepares for an forthcoming fashion line donation. Sidekicks accelerate through the halls with fabric samples, sketches, and garment racks. The atmosphere buzzes with expectation because rumors have been circulating that a new developer is about to join the company, someone whose gift has reportedly caught the attention of several top fashion houses around the world. But no bone knows exactly who she is. Electra arrives at the office determined to concentrate on her work, but she incontinently senses that commodity unusual is passing. Workers brute near the event office, and several directors appear surprisingly agitated. When she approaches the frontal office, she overhears two sidekicks agitating the appearance of Miss Dillon, a developer who has supposedly just inked a contract with the company. The name incontinently sends a bite down Electra's chine. Dillon? Could it really be the same person she formerly knew? Electra tries to move herself that it must be a coexistence, yet the uneasy feeling in her casket refuses to vanish. She walks toward the design bottom, her mind contending with questions. Over the once many months, Electra has worked lifelessly to establish herself within the company, determined to prove that her creative vision deserves recognition. But the unforeseen appearance of an unknown developer threatens to disrupt the delicate balance of power inside Forrester Creations. In the administrative office upstairs, elderly members of the Forrester family bandy their newest hire. They're impressed by Dillon's portfolio, which features bold outlines, innovative fabrics, and an ultramodern aesthetic that could help revitalize the company's image. The directors believe Dillon represents the future of the brand. Still, none of them realize that her appearance may also renew old injuries and long-buried secrets. Meanwhile, Electra attempts to continue her work, but attention proves insolvable. Every many twinkle she ganders toward the elevator, wondering if the mysterious Miss Dillon will appear at any moment. Her studies drift back to the history, to recollections she has tried hard to forget. Times ago, Electra encountered a woman named Dillon whose ambition knew no limits. That Dillon had an uncanny capability to charm important people while intimately manipulating everyone around her. However, Electra fears that chaos may soon follow, if the new developer is the same person. Just before noon, the entire design department receives a dispatch from Operation publicizing a brief meeting in the main exchange. Curious workers gather near the runway platform where numerous Forrester fashion trials have taken place. Electra stands among them, arms crossed nervously as she waits for the advertisement. Moments latterly, the elevator doors open. The room falls silent. A confident youthful woman steps out, dressed in a satiny black suit with striking tableware accentuations. Her posture radiates confidence, and her eyes overlook the room with unmistakable determination. The company chairman introduces her to the staff. "Everyone, please drink our newest developer, Miss Dillon." At that moment Electra's heart nearly stops. There's no mistrustfulness about it. The woman standing before them is indeed the same Dillon she remembers. But Dillon appears indeed more polished and tone-assured than ahead. When their eyes meet across the room, a subtle smile appears on Dillon's lips, as if she anticipated this very moment. Electra snappily looks down, hoping no bone notices her response. The preface continues with applause and enthusiastic commentary from several directors who believe Dillon will bring fresh energy to the company. Yet beneath the face excitement lies a pressure that only Electra seems to feel. She cannot shake the dubitation that Dillon's appearance isn't simply a career move. Commodity deeper is at play. After the meeting ends, workers approach Dillon to compliment her. She greets everyone warmly, thanking them for the occasion and expressing her admiration for the company's heritage. When Electra eventually gathers the courage to approach, Dillon's smile widens. "Electra," she says easily, as though they're old musketeers reunited by fate. "It's been a long time." The casual greeting sends a surge of apprehension through Electra. She responds cautiously, asking what Dillon is doing then. Dillon explains that she has respected Forrester Creations for times and lately decided to pursue an occasion there. Her tone remains affable, but Electra senses a hint of computation behind every word. The discussion snappily draws the attention of near associates who assume the two women partake a friendly history. Electra forces a polite smile, unintentional to reveal the verity in front of everyone. Still, inside she feels a storm brewing. Latterly that autumn, Electra retreats to her office to reuse the shocking news. She knows that Dylan's presence could hang not only her position at the company but also her particular life. The history they partake is complicated and filled with undetermined conflicts. Electra remembers how Dylan formerly pursued every advantage anyhow of the consequences. However, the company may soon face more drama than anyone expects, if she has come to Forrester Creations with the same mindset. As the days pass, Dylan settles into her new part with remarkable speed. Her designs attract praise from directors and buyers likewise. She proposes enterprising generalities for the coming fashion line, earning admiration from associates who view her as a rising star. Yet Electra cannot ignore subtle signs that Dylan may be playing a larger game. She notices how Dylan precisely observes the dynamics within the company, who holds influence, who feels insecure, and who might come a useful supporter. The further Electra watches, the more convinced she becomes that Dylan has not forgotten their once contest. One evening after utmost workers have left the office, Electra encounters Dylan alone in the design plant. Fabric samples cover the tables, and sketches of bold new garments hang on the walls. The quiet atmosphere creates the perfect setting for a private discussion. Electra eventually asks the question that has visited her since Dylan's appearance. "Why are you really then?" Dylan pauses for a moment before answering. She claims she simply wants to prove herself as a developer and make a successful future. Yet the mysterious sparkle in her eyes suggests that her intentions may extend far beyond professional success. Electra warns her that Forrester Creations isn't a place for manipulation or hidden dockets. Dylan responds with a calm smile, reminding Electra that the fashion world has always been competitive. Their discussion ends without resolution, leaving both women apprehensive that a silent battle may soon unfold. Meanwhile, other characters within the world of the bold and the beautiful begin to notice the pressure between them. Some workers wonder why Electra appears uneasy whenever Dylan enters a room. Others presume that the two contrivers may contend for creative leadership within the company. Rumors spread snappily in a plant where ambition and emotion frequently collide. As the coming fashion show approaches, the stakes grow advanced. Dylan presents an enterprising collection that captures the attention of directors and investors. Her designs combine ultramodern fineness with unanticipated textures, reflecting a vision that could review the company's identity. Electra, determined not to be overshadowed, works lifelessly on her own collection. Late nights in the plant come routine as she pours her passion into every detail. The contest between them intensifies, though neither openly acknowledges it. Behind the scenes, Dylan continues erecting connections within the company. She attends meetings with elderly directors, discusses marketing strategies, and indeed proposes collaborations with transnational mates. Her influence grows steadily, raising questions about how snappily she might rise through the species. Electra begins to worry that Dylan's ultimate thing may involve further than design, maybe indeed control over the creative direction of Forrester Creations. Despite the pressure, moments of query sometimes reveal a more complex side of Dylan's character. At times she seems authentically passionate about fashion and eager to contribute innovative ideas. Yet Electra cannot forget the assignments of the history. Trust doesn't come fluently when old battles remain undetermined. The forthcoming fashion show becomes the stage where their conflict may eventually reach a turning point. As models rehearse on the runway and shutterbugs prepare their cameras, the atmosphere inside Forrester Creations becomes electric with expectation. Directors hope the event will strengthen the company's character and attract global attention. For Electra and Dylan, still, the show represents commodity further particular, a chance to prove who truly belongs at the heart of the company. On the night of the donation, the exchange glows with glowing lights. Fashion intelligences, celebrities, and influential buyers fill the followership seats. Confidentially, contrivers rush to finalize every detail before the show begins. Electra takes a deep breath as she watches the first model step onto the runway wearing one of her creations. Applause fills the room. Moments latterly, Dylan's designs appear, witching the followership with bold invention. The crowd reacts madly, praising both collections. Yet the pressure between the two contrivers remains palpable. When the show ends, directors compliment them for delivering a remarkable donation. The success suggests a promising future for the company. Still, the contest between Electra and Dylan is far from resolved. In fact, it may only be beginning. As the guests leave and the lights shroud, Dylan approaches Electra formally more. Her expression is calm but determined. "Looks like we both belong then," she says still. Electra studies her precisely before responding. "Perhaps," she replies. "But only time will reveal the verity." Their discussion ends with an uneasy understanding that the battle for influence within Forrester Creations has only just begun. In the changeable macrocosm of the bold and the beautiful, alliances shift, secrets crop, and battles enkindle with explosive consequences. The appearance of Miss Dylan has opened a new chapter filled with conspiracy, ambition, and emotional conflict. Whether she becomes a visionary leader or a disruptive force remains uncertain. One thing is clear: Electra's discovery that Dylan has joined Forrester Creations will change everything, setting the stage for dramatic twists that could reshape the future of the iconic fashion conglomerate. Inside the dramatic macrocosm of the bold and the beautiful, nothing ever remains peaceful for long, especially within the important fashion conglomerate of Forrester Creations. After the shocking moment when Electra realized that Miss Dylan had officially joined the company, a silent storm began erecting behind the glamorous facade of the design house. The models continued rehearsing, the hairstylists continued cascading fabrics, and directors continued planning unborn collections, but beneath the polished face, feelings, dubitation, and contest were still enhancing. Electra tried to move herself that she was overreacting. After all, new contrivers joined Forrester Creations all the time. The company thrived on fresh ideas and bold gift. Yet commodity about Dylan's appearance felt different, advised, nearly strategic. Electra couldn't ignore the uneasy feeling that Dylan hadn't come to Los Angeles by coexistence. She had come with a purpose. The morning after the fashion show, the energy inside the structure was electric. Fashion blogs were formally praising the event as one of the company's most successful trials in times. Directors were thrilled, buyers were calling continuous, and several magazines wanted exclusive interviews with the contrivers. Typically Electra would be celebrating similar success, but rather she felt distracted. Her mind kept replaying the moment their eyes met in the exchange. That smile. That knowing look. Electra walked through the design plant carrying a mound of sketches when she suddenly heard Dylan's voice across the room. Dylan was speaking with several members of the administrative platoon, explaining her ideas for an unborn luxury capsule collection. She spoke with remarkable confidence, describing innovative fabric technology, transnational collaborations, and a marketing strategy that could expand the brand's global reach. The executives listened carefully, clearly impressed. Electra noticed how easily Dylan commanded attention. It was almost effortless. One of the executives eventually turned toward Electra and asked her opinion on Dylan's proposal. The room fell silent as everyone waited for her response. Electra knew this moment mattered. If she dismissed Dylan's ideas too harshly, she could appear jealous or insecure. But if she praised them too much, she might unintentionally strengthen Dylan's growing influence inside the company. So she chose her words carefully. Electra acknowledged that Dylan's ideas were bold and innovative, but she also reminded the team that the legacy of Forrester Creations had always been built on elegance and emotional storytelling through fashion. Innovation was important, she said, but it should never overshadow the identity that made the company legendary. Her response impressed several executives. Dylan, however, simply smiled again. It was the kind of smile that suggested the game had only just begun. Over the next few days, Dylan continued integrating herself into the company's inner circle. She attended strategy meetings, design brainstorms, and even private discussions with senior members of the Forrester family. Word quickly spread that her talent had already attracted the attention of major investors who wanted to see the company evolve into a more modern global powerhouse. Electra watched everything carefully. She noticed how Dylan always seemed to arrive exactly when important conversations were happening. She knew precisely when to speak and when to remain silent. And she had an uncanny ability to win people over with charm. But Electra also noticed something else. Dylan was watching her too. Late one evening, Electra stayed behind in the studio to finalize sketches for the upcoming summer collection. The building had grown quiet. Most employees had already gone home, leaving only the faint hum of the city outside the windows. Electra leaned over her desk, adjusting the lines of a dress design when she suddenly sensed someone behind her. She turned. Dylan stood near the doorway. "Working late again?" Dylan asked casually. Electra straightened. "Some of us don't rely on dramatic presentations to get attention." Dylan chuckled softly. "Still the same Electra," she replied. The tension between them was impossible to ignore. Electra set her pencil down and crossed her arms. "You still haven't answered my question." "What question?" "Why you're really here." For a moment, Dylan said nothing. She slowly walked around the studio, examining the sketches pinned on the wall. Her fingers lightly brushed against a fabric sample before she turned back toward Electra. "People change," Dylan said quietly. "Maybe I just wanted a fresh start." Electra shook her head. "You don't move across the world and join the most powerful fashion house in Los Angeles for a fresh start." Dylan tilted her head slightly. "Maybe I wanted competition." The words hung in the air like a challenge. Electra felt a surge of frustration but also determination. If Dylan truly believed she could manipulate her way to the top again, she was mistaken. "This company isn't a game," Electra said firmly. Dylan stepped closer. "No," she replied calmly. "It's an empire." The conversation ended there, but the message was clear. A rivalry had been officially declared. Meanwhile, the executives at Forrester Creations began discussing a major new project that could define the company's future, a global fashion campaign that would showcase the next generation of designers. The project would place enormous responsibility on whoever was chosen to lead it. And two names quickly rose to the top of the list: Electra and Dylan. When Electra heard the news, she realized the stakes had just become much higher. The campaign would not only shape the company's creative direction but also determine who might eventually rise to a leadership position within the design department. In other words, whoever succeeded could become the future face of Forrester Creations. The announcement spread rapidly through the offices. Some employees believed Electra deserved the opportunity because of her dedication and loyalty to the company. Others believed Dylan represented the bold innovation needed to keep the brand competitive in an evolving fashion industry. The debate grew intense, and Dylan seemed perfectly comfortable in the middle of it. One afternoon, Electra overheard two assistants whispering about Dylan's growing popularity with investors. Apparently, several influential fashion insiders believed Dylan's designs could dominate international markets. Electra felt the pressure building, but she refused to back down. If Dylan wanted competition, she would get it. Weeks passed as both designers prepared proposals for the global campaign. Electra focused on storytelling and emotional elegance, drawing inspiration from classic Forrester designs while adding modern sophistication. Dylan, meanwhile, developed a daring concept involving futuristic silhouettes, digital fashion experiences, and bold cultural influences. Executives reviewed both presentations carefully. The decision would not be easy. As the day of the final pitch approached, tension filled every corner of the building. Models practiced in the runway studio, photographers tested lighting setups, and marketing teams prepared promotional strategies. Electra barely slept. She knew this moment could determine her future. The night before the presentations, she returned to the studio once more. Sketches covered the walls, fabrics draped across tables, and the city lights shimmered beyond the windows. As she adjusted the final details of her designs, she felt a strange mix of fear and excitement. Then she heard footsteps again. Dylan appeared beside the doorway. Neither woman spoke at first.